Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. We are going to finish up in Drangleic Castle today and take on the big boss. So you come to this room and you can see that there's like a column towering into the air. We can't use that column just now, but what you can do is there was ladders next to the column. Go up the ladders and it will take you to this room. You can see there's one of those golem mechanism things to open a door or whatever. In this case it's actually to reset that lift and bring it down to the ground level. And that's why the entrance here is raised, so that you can't just go back to the lift. You have to kind of make a meandering walk around the castle and then make your way back to the lift and the bonfire, the central Drangleic bonfire. So in here we've got 6 stone soldiers, and yeah, you want to, or is it 8 stone soldiers? Whatever it is, lots of stone soldiers, and you want to basically kill one next to the golem to get the mechanism triggered. What an awkward, awkward design for Drangleic Castle. Accessibility's terrible. Not good. Surely it didn't function like this when people were using the castle on a day-to-day basis. Anyway, I nearly get my ass handed to me here. And for some reason, it's just me being foolish. I like to try and do parries and stuff at the most inappropriate times. And really there was probably no need to aggro all 3 of these stone soldiers. I probably should have just taken the nearest one at the door out first, and then taken the other 2 out afterwards, but never mind. Thankfully the large club is really useful here, because it can two-handed it one-shots these stone soldiers. One problem I have with the stone soldiers is I find them kind of sometimes hard to make out what their moves are, just because they're dark and kind of blend in with the background and whatnot. In the previous episode I just want to correct a factual error I made. I had read something about the black bow, the hunter's black bow, in the day prior to me recording the audio for the video, and I'd read that you could infuse it with poison and use poison arrows to make a wicked combination, but that is absolutely incorrect. You can't infuse the hunter's black bow, and I believe you can't infuse any of the bows with poison. So, but yeah, use poison arrows with it. We get the soul greatsword there and a chime, Kaifa's chime or Kaifa's chime or however it's pronounced. The soul greatsword is an excellent sorcery. I used it multiple times in my own playthrough when I was doing the faith build guy, and it's so good because it's so fast. It goes through enemy shields and you can take out multiple enemies at once. It's good for baiting enemies into chasing you, and then using your chime, using your what do you call it? Not wand. Your catalyst, that's what it is. So this room is full of primal knights, royal guards, and oddly enough alone captains from Iron Keep. And there's 4 of them up there, or is it 5 of them? And if you stand around at the bottom here, they'll snipe you. So what you want to do is you want to go up and take them out first. And I would recommend going up and taking the ones out on the right. So as you go up the ladders, go up to the right and take those ones out first. We also got there, that Kaifa's chime is apparently very good for hexes. If you're just solely interested in casting hexes, that chime is the best one before New Game Plus. After New Game Plus, Chime of Want is the best one. And the one thing I do know about Kaifa's chime from my own playthrough is it's got a fast casting speed. So four alone captains, and I wonder what alone captains are doing here in Drangleic Castle. I wonder. We'll see in a minute that there's some more outside, and I'll come back to them once I'm out there. Because I think they probably served a purpose here in Drangleic Castle as part of an agreement that Vendrick had with the Old Iron King. See you later. So in this treasure chest, there's two treasure chests. There's this one on this side and one on the other side. This one is the better one, I think. Firestorm, no it's not. So Firestorm is a sorcery. It's not as good as Fire Tempest. Watch out when you open the other one. It's a trap chest. So you'll either get arrows or poison. And we get fire great arrows. Never used a great bow in this game. The bow, those stained glass panels, the stained glass is lovely. Notice the twin dragons. The twin dragons is a common theme in Dark Souls 2. You see it in numerous areas in the second part of the game. And these guys, their tracking is so good. You'll see it in a moment. It's when they raise their weapon over their head, and it's like the Gurm Knights, the Gurm, whatever they are, warriors, when they lift their big hammer thing, they have this momentary pause, and just when you dive out of the way and you think that you've evaded the attack, nope, they get you somehow. Not there though. One thing I like about life gems is how quick they are. That's strange, I was sure there was a clip that I had where one of these guys clips me quite well, even though I thought I'd avoided it. So another Primal Knight out here. There's something else I was going to say. So yeah, there's not much to say about the Primal Knights. Spoken about them before in previous episodes. So while we're doing this fight, talk about maybe some other guides or videos I might make. I'd mentioned Wolfenstein The New Order before. I'm having some technical difficulties recording that. You can't use Shadowplay to record stuff made by ID or id Technology, same people that made Rage and whatnot. Need to use Fraps for it, but Fraps seems to cut my frame rate down to 30 for some reason, even though I tell it to keep it 60. So anyway, Mastodon Helm. The king restored a forbidden long lost art to create these inhuman abominations, and that refers to the soul arts. And the helmet itself is one of the strangest looking and ugliest helmets in the game. So you come up here and we've got 3 alone captains, and you can see that they're facing down into the grounds of the castle or whatever. And I think their purpose was to fend off attacks by giants. So if the giants decided to conduct a siege against Vendrick's castle, these alone captains could perhaps snipe them from distance. And we've already seen in the Forest of Fallen Giants that there's a ballista scattered around the place, and we'll see later on that there's a link between those ballista and the giants. So that seemingly the giants are susceptible to long ranged sniping. And that's the good thing about poison in this game. Once you've successfully poisoned an enemy, you can kind of forget about it and move on. And that's me using the Hide Lance. Is it the Hide Lance? Yeah, I think it is. The one with all these Hide weapons have lightning attack as part of their capabilities, and it's a really good weapon once you upgrade it to +5. So you can see we're near the entrance to Drangleic Castle. Or we're above the entrance. So if you come back down the ladder and you come round, you'll come to this door. There's also another door that's kind of like a coppery green coloured door. So the copper's kind of been eroded by the atmosphere and whatnot, and it's gone green like copper does. And that door doesn't seem to go anywhere, but it's one of these doors like we get in the Dark Souls 2 that, you know, it's prominent, it catches your attention but doesn't seem to have any purpose or go anywhere. And there's something like that coming up soon actually. Anyway, we've got another Royal Guard down here. This is bringing us back towards the central Drangleic bonfire where we spoke to Benhart of Yugo. And down to the left you can see that circular structure down there. That's where we spoke to Chancellor Walliger. I think it is anyway. Because when you're speaking to Chancellor Walliger, actually, if you look up, you can actually see rain coming in through the top. Okay, so this lift has now been reset, so you can't get access to this door yet. We can later on, but not right away. So we'll have to go up, use the lift to go all the way to the top, and it's a long journey to the top, so I'm going to cut some of this. I thought I'd cut it. Yeah, there we go. And there's only one way to go, and that's through this door, and we're going to encounter one of the strangest sights in the whole of Dark Souls 2. So we've got a humanoid figure, being attached, chained to the door. And it says no key to the embedded in inventory, and we can see that there's a prisoner inside there wearing a nice green dress, and we've got 3 treasure chests, I think it is, in this room. In New Game Plus, there's a red phantom in here. So key to the King's Passage, which is an important item, need that to progress through the level. Soul Vessel, I think, in this one, and Fire Seed. And in the next one is a sorcery. I think magic barrier, great magic barrier or something. But anyway, the embedded, the description for the embedded is that he was a human at one point with an unrelenting lust for flesh, and they don't say whether his lust for his desire for flesh was intimate. I presume that's the meaning, and it's not that he was a zombie and he was, you know, he hungered after human flesh. And he bound himself with chains, and yeah, he is as you see him now. So the key to the King's Passage description states that Vendrick tried all manner of things to purge the curse that threatened his kingdom, but when every last attempt failed, the king fled through the passage, King's Passage, and this is King's Passage now, right here. Very atmospheric area with the lightning and whatnot, and we've got this strange kind of like shrine-like room before the passage, and we've got this statue and this interesting mural. The two things that stand out in this mural are the 2 humanoid figures, or depictions on the side. Also the fact that the tree has got roots and branches, and the branches are kind of strange looking, the first set of branches. I don't know what that mural means, just know it's there. And these guys, these are stone knights. So, stone knights that were once commanded by Velsted. I think that's how you pronounce that. And they're susceptible to fire. They're easy on their own, but if they gang up on you, they can be difficult. That item to my left, I forgot to pick that up. It's a life gem, so make sure you pick that up first. There's an item in my right. I don't think I pick it up here right away, but I'll probably come back for it. It's Twinkling Titanite, so you definitely want to pick it up. And something else, Twinkling Titanite and Soul of a Proud Knight. So this is us, yeah, this item. So this is us coming up to the boss fight, and we're going to summon Benhart of Yugo. His summon sign's on the left, and this is the Looking Glass Knight. I would recommend, I use aromatic ooze here, but actually gold pine resin works very well against the Looking Glass Knight, and the reason is because of the rain. And by the same token, that gives the Looking Glass Knight a resistance to fire, so don't use charcoal pine resin against him, or it. Its shield on its left hand totally blocks all attacks, so you need to get round the side of it. It's got good tracking. It has numerous lightning attacks that can from distance, so don't keep close to it or keep a middle distance from it, because if you get it still has a lightning attack like this one if you're close to it, and there's a bug in this fight where the sound when you cast lightning is unbelievably loud, unintentional, very annoying, especially if you use headphones, because it's deafening. It's really jarring actually. But what you want to do is you want to keep going round him in a clockwise manner, and if you've got high agility you can roll through most of his attacks or its attacks. I mean that'll come across louder than even this version, and I've reduced the volume at these points. Yeah, and that's one of his other lightning attacks. So you can actually stagger him as well, and once he gets to about half health, he places his mirror on the ground, mirror shield, and he summons an NPC. He can actually summon human players, mirror squires, but in our case he just summoned an AI NPC. So Benhart of Yugo really helped us there. I believe hitting your weapon against his shield actually does durability damage as well, so just be careful. And if you're doing sorceries and whatnot, they can actually bounce off of his mirror and strike you. So the lore is quite mundane in my opinion. He's not a very interesting boss in terms of lore. Right, very important, if you see over to the left, see there's a treasure chest. You're not going to see it in this video because I forgot to get it here and right when I was playing through it at this point, but there's a treasure over there, and wait, I'll tell you what's in it. It's a spell quartz ring +2, 3 bonfire ascetics, and soul bolt. And I believe soul bolt works well in the shrine of Amana, which is where we go to next, because it has an AoE effect on water. That might be wrong. That I read that recently, but it might be. Some people claim it's another sorcery. I can't remember its name now. But this is us. The lift brings you down to this area, and as you go along, there's only one way to go, unless you go back the way, and this takes you along to the next bonfire, which is the Shrine of Amana. And this is a really interesting area, quite a challenging area in certain respects. And since it's a shrine, it seems respectful to. Anyway, thanks for watching, and next episode won't be the Shrine of Amana.